forever.
Yay, Megan!
You think that's funny? You smile? Yeah?
Megan's first year of life, she was completely normal. About 9 months that we noticed she wasn't doing the things that she should be doing to reach that next milestone.
What are you doing, Meg?
Pulling up in the crib, trying to take her first steps.
I couldn't understand why she wasn't doing these things. I thought, oh, maybe just because she's a girl.
Hey, clap hands.
John and Eileen Crowley, then parents of 2-year-old John, didn't have much experience with baby girls, but they did know something was wrong with theirs.
That's when we went to the pediatrician with these concerns, and then he referred us to a neurologist.
After several blood tests and biopsies, doctors diagnosed Megan with Pompe disease, a rare neuromuscular disorder caused by a defective or missing enzyme. Without it, a sticky substance builds up in the muscles and they degenerate. The prognosis, grim.
In the course of one day, you go through the shock, the grief, the denial. In that meeting, the doctor had told us earlier that day that Megan wouldn't live to be 2, and she was 15 months old at the time. And he told us there was very little or no research going on. 6 months after her diagnosis, she came down with a pneumonia and had to be put on a ventilator in the hospital, and her heart stopped beating and she stopped breathing 3 times in 3 days. When she refused to give up, that's when we both looked at her in the intensive care unit that night and said, okay, kid, you want to fight? We'll fight too.
They were also fighting for their second son, Patrick, who was diagnosed at 3 months old. Megan and Patrick's health quickly spiraled downhill. They couldn't sit up, eat, walk, or breathe on their own. With no treatment to turn to, John quit his job as a financial consultant to start his own company devoted to creating a treatment.
Megan, she knew what Daddy was doing, even from the time she was 2 or 3 years old. She knew that Daddy was working with some other great people to help find her special medicine.
He found promising research, but despite $27 million and a growing staff, John needed the muscle of a large drug company. He partnered with Genzyme, a biotech company. It was already working on treatments. But still, drug testing and approval takes time, the one thing Patrick and Megan didn't have.
Their muscles were getting weaker and weaker every day. Every day was a lost chance to make them better.
It's incredibly frustrating. I kept saying, can't you just steal it and bring it home? But that doesn't work that way.
Initially, the kids didn't meet the strict criteria for the first drug trials. Then, ironically, the career John had created to help his kids got in the way. Hospitals wouldn't allow his children into subsequent trials, citing a conflict of interest. So with the clock ticking, John stepped down.
It's like having the ball ready to cross the goal line, and you just keep trying and trying and trying. And next thing you know, it's 4th down, and you've got one more shot at it.
You want the truck, don't you?
Their last shot came from Dr. Deborah Linde Salvatore, a genetic researcher, who finally designed a trial that the Crowleys could participate in. The kids would finally get their dad's special medicine.
All right, Dad.
That's it? Yeah. You know, we finally pressed the button. It was so emotional. It was just an amazingly quiet, tense moment right after the enzyme started to flow. So it was an emotional day.
Megan, you're in room 3 right here on your right.
Now they get their infusion every 2 weeks, and it's working. For 5-year-old Patrick, it's been a slow journey. But for 6-year-old Megan, great strides. Her heart, once twice the size it should have been, has shrunk to normal. She can now sit up, raise her hand, smile, even dream of a future as a teacher, a dancer, even a nurse.
I remember she was sitting in the bed there in the hospital, and I wrapped my arms around her and gave her a hug and just a kiss. And I told her, I said, you know what, Megan, you're going to grow up to be an old lady now. And she just whispered in my ear and said, thank you.